First, I just want to thank our crowd for coming out and helping us through the whole season. They didn't never give up on us, and I appreciate that. And, you know, it was a tough, hard-fought game. Our guys never gave in. I thought the second half they came out and really fought, and just proud of them, proud of our seniors. They won a lot of games here and left this program better. And the next thing they have to do is graduate, and that's going to be probably one of the happiest days they have here at UConn. And, you know, I want them to finish strong and let them know they always got a family here. And I appreciate them to death.
Again, we'll take questions for the student athletes at this time. If you raise your hand, we'll get a microphone over to you.
This one's for Christian. What would you say is your biggest takeaway from the season, and what can you say that you learned from Rodney this season?
I would say my biggest takeaway is how to keep fighting, never to give up, and what it really means to play for UConn. I learned a lot from Rodney, and not only Rodney, but the other seniors as well. You know, they've taught me discipline. They taught me, you know, how not to be a freshman, and, you know, just how to be composed on the court at all times and fighting through adversity. They did a really great job of being our captains this year and leading us as a team. And that's something that I'm going to take for the rest of my career here at UConn, and I appreciate them.
Questions? We have one over here.
This is for Rodney. Rodney, why do you think you guys got close a bunch of times but weren't able to get over the hump? Why do you think that is?
I just think we needed to dig down a little bit more, get the key stops that we really needed to get once we was in reach. Anytime we got the game down in like 4 or 5, I just think we'll make a small mistake on the defensive end and get them another shot at it, or we will foul, and they were going to the free throw line. So that was it.
Here in front.
Rodney, obviously the game was called pretty tightly. How did that change the way you guys were playing, and how did you, you know, obviously they had a deeper bench than you guys did, so how did you adjust when all these fouls started getting called?
I think we did the best that we could as far as the foul trouble and the different things of that nature. A few times, of course, I can sit up here and say I felt that we played good defense and somehow we fouled. So I don't know, but I mean the game is over with. You know, like I said, the main thing we wanted to do was just try to get stops and get timely stops.
In front to Dave.
Rodney, just wanted to know what was going through your mind there when you left the court for the final time. You seemed pretty emotional on the bench. What was going through your mind at that point?
Probably that it was just my last time being in a UConn jersey. That's about it.
Jalen, how difficult was it to have to sit at the end of the first half with the foul trouble?
It was tough. I see my guys out there fighting, trying to hold on and get the lead, get back in the game, and I put the team in a difficult position by getting those early fouls. So I just got to learn from that and stay solid and disciplined.
Over here on the left.
Rodney, this is for you. As you reflect on your time at UConn, a couple of things you're most proud of from the experience?
Just the overall relationships I built with my teammates, coaching staff, peers around campus. That's it, really. Just the relationships was a huge piece since I've been here at UConn. Of course, the basketball was great, but it's nothing like the relationships that you meet people and you're able to connect with them for the rest of your life.
Jalen and Christian, the team obviously went through so much adversity, especially injury-wise, this season. Can you talk about how that's preparing you for what's coming next season, especially Christian? Obviously, you got some playing time that you might not have gotten otherwise.
To me, I'm just ready. You know, whatever minutes was thrown to me. Obviously, you know, everyone's role increased through with the injuries that we got. So I'm just gonna go into next year just with the same confidence that I had this year, and just ready to compete with my guys again.
I think injuries were very unfortunate, but I think as a team we learned a lot. Going into next year, we know even though if we're shorthanded, we can compete with anybody, and we just learned the overall lesson to never give up and keep fighting.
Over here to Dom.
Rodney, when you talked about this game last night, and you just said one word that you guys had to be tough. Is that essentially the kind of game you were anticipating, where you wanted to be physical, match them for toughness, hit them first, hit them back? Is that really the kind of game that you guys wanted to play against them?
Yes, definitely. That's the only way you can really compete with a team like with Cincinnati and SMU guys who just crash the boards nonstop. You know, they're a physical team, so only way you can compete with those guys is to play tough against them.
Rodney, correct me if I'm wrong. You were at UConn. I guess you were sitting out that year whenever y'all won the title, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You know, when you were sitting there and watching, you know, what was it like in the locker room and in that group, given what they experienced the year before, and kind of how did that affect that title run?
It was great. You know, that team had a lot of veteran guys on it. Shabazz, Boatwright, all those guys were great leaders. So Niels, Gifford, Tyler Land, all those guys had been through a lot over the course of their careers. And, you know, Shabazz and Niels and Tyler, they all won a championship before. So they all knew what it took. You know, all of those guys were great guys. You know, Shabazz was just a great leader in himself. You know, he didn't have to say much, even though he did. Guys was going to follow his lead. So that was the main thing.
Okay, get one more for the players, please. Seeing none, gentlemen, thank you. Excuse you to the locker room. And we'll continue with questions for Coach Ollie. Please, again, raise your hand and we'll get a microphone over to you. Questions for Coach? Okay, Pat.
Coach, kind of the same question I had for the players. Obviously, this wasn't the season you were anticipating, first losing season Connecticut's had in 30 years, but how does it prepare this team going forward with the adversity you faced? How will that help?
I think adversity always helps. It's just part of life. You got to fail to succeed most of the time. So we're looking at it as just a point, a moment in our careers, my career, my players' career that you got to get better from. You build off of it. One thing I know, they didn't give up in that locker room and they didn't stop believing and they didn't stop fighting. So, you know, this is not a basketball lesson, it's a life lesson for some of these guys because, you know, that's what it's going to be in life. Life is going to punch you sometimes and it's just how you respond. And I thought they responded great. You know, I tried to be positive throughout the whole season, try to coach them and prepare them the best as possible. And I thought those guys played hard for me, but most importantly, played hard for what's on the front of their chest.
Over here, Neil.
How difficult is it to play or coach in a game when it's so choppy with the stoppages, whether it's called that way or played that way?
Yeah, it's just tough substituting. So, you know. But I guess the refs did the best job they possibly can. You know, you see 46 free throws, 31 free throws in one half. So I don't know if a lot of people was watching that game. I mean, because it's just all free throws. So it's not how basketball is supposed to be played.
Over here to the left.
Kevin, just kind of following up on that. When Mick was in, he talked about an incident, you know, with Cincinnati, I'm assuming it was Xavier, and he said ugly incidents occur if you don't call every foul. And I don't want you to get in trouble with with the officiating, but were you surprised that it was called as tight as it was? Because it seemed like everything was called today, and I was wondering if that was tough to work through.
Like I said, it was a tough game to play. You know, we don't have a bench anyway. I mean, we shorthanded, but you know, just trying to shuffle guys in and out. So I thought our guys fought through the adversity. Just some unfortunate calls just didn't go our way. So, I mean, it's a game that happens sometimes. I mean, you got to make adjustments, and we didn't make the adjustments today, I guess. And, you know, but Cincinnati, I give Mick a ton of credit, though. So it's not just the refs. I mean, they put our guys in position to foul. So, you know, we have to show more resistance. But, you know, that's a good team. It's going to be a great championship game. And both of those teams are going to represent the American Conference very well in the tournament. So, you know, hopefully our guys learn from this, how to play on a championship level. And I thought we did that in the second half. But, of course, it's hard to win a game when a team goes to the free throw line 46 times. And credit to them, they made them. I mean, second half, they made 28 out of 31.
Coach, tough loss here tonight. I often believe that when your team has to compete, they best take on your demeanor and your personality out there on the court. Can you speak to how proud you are of this unit despite injuries and how they fought tonight?
Yeah, like I said, I'm proud of them. That's not even a word. I know they got better, you know, throughout the year. They could have made every excuse in the book, but they never did. They came to practice. I mean, sometimes we had practice with 4 guys. And, you know, anybody know my practices, we practice full. And we have 4 guys trying to play with walk-ons and everything. So I just pride those. I have pride in those guys. I love them. Those seniors, they didn't miss a practice. Just the energy they brought and the leadership they brought was just something that I always cherish. You know, everybody can say we had a losing season in 30 years. I don't know what it is. I think you said 30 years. But at the end of the day, I know those guys got some brothers for a lifetime. And that's the thing. I pride ourselves on UConn. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to be right back. And we're going to be back better than ever. And I truly believe that.
Over here to Gavin.
How did guys like Christian and Vance kind of benefit from the extra playing time they got this year because you were shorthanded?
Oh, I thought they benefited well. I mean, they came in, they was thrown to the fire. Wasn't like I was able to take them out or anything like that. They just fought. They kept getting better and better and better. And I mean, what Christian did today, man, that's UConn basketball right there. That's the type of players I want. Just fighting, scrappy. I got to calm them down a little bit, but I'd rather calm you down and try to stir you up. And that kid, I don't ever have to stir up. He got super confidence, go in and get 9 rebounds, and he went to go get some man rebounds. And that's what our guards do. And, you know, he got a bright career ahead of him. I thought Van struggled in the first half a little bit, taking some ill-advised shots, but then I think he settled down in the second half and started playing solid. But, you know, everybody from 1 through 8 we had this year, 1 through 6 we had, you know, 3/4 of the season. They played tough, and, you know, I appreciate them for that, and they didn't make no excuses.
Get 1 or 2 more for Coach. Go to Dom over here.
Kevin, how are you going to replace the guys who are leaving? Obviously, you've got Altery coming back to replace Rodney. Your 2 big guys up front are leaving. That's a lot of experience leaving. What do you feel like you need to happen to be able to pick up the slack for those guys next year?
I mean, you just got to work. I mean, every team is going to lose players. I mean, at the end of the day, you go in the summertime, you be selfish, you get in the gym, and you try to get better. You know, you can't replace Kimba, you can't replace Shabazz, you can't replace Amita because they're their own entity. But you can replace them, not replace them, but you can get better, you know, because of their presence, learn from them, and then whoever's coming back that's putting on a UConn jersey, you know, have a different mindset, have a championship mindset, and every season is different. You know, so, you know, those guys got to come back. They got to work. They got to be coachable. They got to get in the weight room. They got to get, you know, a nutrition plan. They got to finish well in school. You know, it's a lot of things they got to do emotionally, spiritually, physically. Everything got to change because you can't be the same person you was today. You got to be something different tomorrow. And hopefully they got that lesson from me. Hopefully they get that lesson from all the resources around our great program.